Whatever you think of all the current hype about AI agents, in the not-so-distant future, we might use these bots for all sorts of things, from running our online errands to planning out travel precisely the way we like it. But at the moment, payments are a big obstacle to this future because these bots can't spend money without our help. For that matter, up until this moment, we've put a lot of effort into keeping bots off our websites and out of our digital stores. So how is this going to work? I'm Jennifer Strong, and this is Shift.
Now here on the steering column is a device called Auto Cruise. You simply set the speed you want.
Self-driving robo-taxis are already on the road in US cities.
As the disc rotates, a mirror reflects the light in the way that depends on how the signal was recorded.
This is the 100 terabyte I present to you Electro, the Moto Man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I would say that one of my greatest skills is my ability to interact with humans.
This episode, it's the latest installment of our oral history project.
Does it feel like you just woke up and suddenly everything is AI and everyone has really strong opinions about it, but at this point you feel like you've been completely left out of the conversation?
You should listen to The Fake Files, hosted by me, Perry Carpenter.
And me, Mason Amadeus.
Every episode, we explore big questions around AI, technology, and humanity.
But we try to keep things fun, optimistic, and easy to understand.
The Fake Files.
Spelled F-A-I-K, like fake, but with AI in the middle.
And no E.
Yeah, F-A-I-K.
The Fake Files. Because the truth is out there, and the only one who can save it.
I'm sorry, Perry. My guidelines require that I terminate this transmission.
We, the people, shape our country's story. America 250 is gearing up to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the founding of America's democracy by collecting and preserving diverse stories from across the nation. Nominate any living person you think has a story to be preserved and celebrated for generations to come. Help tell our American story, every unique version of it. Visit america250.org/nominate to submit.
Before the web, it was like, who's going to use this thing? And then now you can't live without it. Same with mobile. I think you're going to say the same thing about AI agents. The next generation is not even going to know how we lived without AI agents doing stuff for us. My name is Amir Sarhangi. I'm CEO of Skyfire. And Skyfire, really what we're doing is we're enabling AI and AI agents to be able to autonomously have access to a financial payment network and be able to, on their own, be able to make payments and also be able to monetize their services. And really what that means is that as we're starting to see the vision of AI evolve, and that evolution is really about replacing human beings when it comes to daily tasks, it needs to really be able to complete these tasks. Because as a human, today, anytime we do various types of tasks, in most cases, we have to use our credit card, we have to use a bank account to pay for things, or cash for that matter. And today, when an AI agent has to do something that requires payment, it stops and says, human, I need access to this service, or I need you to be able to pay for this service for me. And then a human being gets involved, pays for that service, brings back, let's say, access, and that access usually is through some sort of API, and then the agent can now continue its work. Every enterprise in the world is going to have to be agent ready. Because AI agents are starting to do these tasks that humans were doing in the past, now you have to really see that agent as a potential customer because they're making decisions on behalf of humans. So for example, if you want to do travel, today you can go to a site and you can basically say, hey, come up with a really good travel. You can go to even ChatGPT and say, hey, give me a travel itinerary for, let's say, going to Costa Rica. And then the next step and the evolution of that is going to be not only giving you the full itinerary, but then going out and actually getting you the best price and booking that travel for you. Now, what that means is that in that scenario, that agent becomes the customer, not you, because that agent is the one going out there, finding the best deal for you, making a decision on your behalf, and then making those payments. So all these businesses in that particular itinerary need to be agent ready and need to be able to sell to AI agents. That's also true in the world of when you look at like the B2B world and the tech world, because AI agents are doing many different steps in a workflow. And in order for them to do these different steps, they need access to different types of services. These services may be data, and because it's doing some analysis, it may need to go to, let's say, Getty Images to get a picture for the images for the presentation it's creating. So there's various types of content, data, and services that AI agents are using on a daily basis. And in order to be able to access these things, they need to be able to pay for them. And because agents can be autonomous in nature, they don't need a human being to tell them where to buy from. They know they can find it. They can find the options and the best options for themselves. They can do the integration and be able to access that content or service on its own. And with Skyfire, they can actually pay for it. The way our product works is that a developer or an enterprise signs up with Skyfire. Their agent now has a wallet. They can fund that wallet, and the way they can fund that wallet is using credit card, bank account. If they happen to have crypto, in this case stablecoin, they can use stablecoins to be able to pay and then be able to fund their account. Once they've funded the account, now their agent has the ability to look at what's available on the Skyfire network, and then once it sees something it needs, can now pay for it and then have access to it. That payment itself is done using what we call a stable coin, which is essentially a US dollar, digital US dollar. And the reason we do that is because a lot of times these payments are micropayments, very small, even as small as like 1/100th of a penny. And the only way you can really do that is using the stable coin, because if you're using the existing fiat network, by fiat network, I'm talking about credit card. If you're trying to pay for something that's, let's say, less than $1, it's going to cost you 50% of that in fees to be able to make that payment. So it's really not scalable to do small payments using existing network. Both myself and my co-founder, Craig, do it. The two of us used to work at a company called Ripple, worked on cross-border payments. And so we knew a lot about payments. One of the things that kind of struck us, this was about 1.5 years ago, we started seeing a lot of stuff in the news around, and obviously you came across this, AI companies wanting to have access to more data, right? And this data this could be content that journalists had written, like, New York Times, or it could be something like Reddit. And what we started seeing is that there was a lot of friction. You had AI companies that were extremely data hungry. And then on the other end, you had content owners and content creators who were very worried about what was happening with all this ingestion of content. And so we felt that there had to be a much better way for these two sides to be able to work together in a scalable model where an agent can on its own be able to come and just say, hey, I want access to that data, or I want to be able to scrape that data, and I'm willing to pay for it. So not only be able to access it, negotiate, pay for it, be able to then consume it. And at that time, what we were seeing is these mega deals happening between like OpenAI and Reddit. And we just didn't think that's going to scale, because you have so many players on each side that all need to be able to work with each other effectively. And that's really when we, really came up with Skyfire, is that we felt that this new economy needed a way to be able to pay for things autonomously, because that's really at the end of the day, that's the whole purpose of AI, is that autonomous nature that it can go out there and do stuff on your behalf. Some of the early work we're doing right now is we're working with companies in the data space. Now, this is both public data and private data. On the public data side, these are companies that today protect your websites. They're blocking, let's say, bots and different types of security measures in place to really help you as a web owner. You may have an enterprise or a consumer site. But the problem is that as now we're going into this new AI world, we don't want all those bots blocked. We actually want someone to be let in because those are bots that are going to actually help your business. So we're working with these types of businesses today to be able to provide an easy way for AI bots to be able to pay a premium to be able to access various types of sites. One of the new things that's happening with the space of payments is that traditionally, like everything that's been built in fintech has been on the same kind of underlying technology and rails. When we say rails, really what we're talking about is the credit card network, the banking system that hasn't really changed in many years now. And so when we talk about fintech, really what we're talking about is a layer on top to kind of cover all the issues that exist within the existing platforms. What we're building with Skyfire is completely new rails. That means the tech is being built on blockchain. The bookends are still traditional systems because we want to make it really easy for developers and enterprises to be able to access it. But everything in the middle is completely new, which enables us to do a lot of cool new stuff. Basically, money becomes programmable, right? Like we can use money in the software layer and be able to create these new capabilities and features that before were very difficult to do. That's something that's pretty different than what's been there before. And AI is like the perfect customer for us because this customer is not a human being. Therefore, it can deal with fractions of a penny. It's global in nature. It needs instant. It needs fast. So those are all the things that we have in terms of feature set, but also as a customer, it needs those things, which makes it we're not trying to, find a problem for a solution. It's actually a problem that exists today that we're solving with this. This is my third startup. Last startup I had, I sold to Google. That became Android Messages. So that was a good 15 years of my life doing that. Here, I feel like that 15 years has been condensed into like 6 months. Like how quickly this space is moving in AI is just absolutely amazing because the step changes not only on technology, but then what that technology can do for you is very hard as a founder to keep up with the pace, but also even just be able to kind of grasp everything that's going on and how you build your strategy within this, what's happening in the space. That's probably been the most surprising and most difficult. What we do for enterprises, we make it much easier for them to be able to now serve this new customer, which is the AI agent. What do they need in order to be able to do that? One, they need to know who this agent is that is trying to do business with them. So having a verification process that enables us to say this is a verified agent. And then sometimes enterprises want to know additional information about where is this company located or what's their EIN or various types of data that they may need. So be able to securely share that so that they can do business. Secondly, the other piece is around payments. How can an agent pay an enterprise or another agent? And that's what we make it extremely easy for these enterprises to be able to do that. One of the big trends that we see happening in this space, and this is because of agents, is that a lot of these companies have SaaS companies. They have essentially an enterprise SaaS model. Essentially, you're paying a monthly fee to have access to various types of services. We see that getting all unbundled because AI agents can't sign up to a SaaS because it's like, I need this now and I need to have access and I'm willing to pay for it. So this unbundling is something that you're going to see a lot of in the next couple of years. This is not necessarily replacing existing revenues. This is actually net new revenue that's going to be created as a result of the billions of agents that are going to be running around doing stuff for people.
This episode was produced by me and Emma Cillekens and mixed by Garret Lang, with original music from him and Jacob Gorski. Thanks for listening. I'm Jennifer Strong.